Hi, everybody. I am David Cole with Blue Chip, and I'm pleased to be here today for our Insights with the Experts series with Leah Goldblatt McCormack, who is the Vice President of Business Development and Eligibility with the NAIA. Hi, Leah. Nice to see you today. Thanks for joining us.
Honored to be here. Thank you so much.
It's our pleasure. Why don't you, if you could briefly tell us about the NAIA, your current role and career path that now has you supporting the success of over 85,000 student athletes, if I'm not mistaken.
Amazing. Yep. You've got your stats right. Love it.
All right. Excellent.
So the NAIA is the governing body of small college athletics, dedicated to really that real college student athlete experience. We are focused on college programs, four-year institutions, nonprofit, all across the U.S., in fact, in Canada also. But these are the colleges that you may not necessarily see on, ESPN or in the March Madness. The NAIA is an independent organization operating and doing all of the things in terms of creating an excellent championship experience for student athletes, giving scholarships. And like you said, there's 85,000 student athletes in the NAIA, and we're dedicated really to that holistic college athlete experience. So that's a little bit about the NAIA. We've got billions of dollars in scholarship money that get in the hands of students. We were the association of first. We were we were the first association to integrate Black students as well as HBCU colleges into the NAIA membership. We integrated the basketball tournament in Kansas City the first. We created NIL opportunities the first. We're the first to initiate women's flag football. It goes on and on. There's a whole host of things that the NAIA has a very storied, proud history. And it's a very cool association where student athletes feel at home, and it's a small college vibe. A lot of the schools are in small college towns, all across the U.S. Some of them very urban. So we are very diverse in terms of what the NAIA brings to the ecosystem of college sports.
That's great. Thanks very much. And why don't we just dive in and tell us a little bit about yourself, where you went to school, and your overall experience that has led you to a career in the education and collegiate sports ecosystem.
Yeah, absolutely. So I do not have a linear path. I studied as my undergraduate in anthropology, really interested in kind of international relations or just more of just studying humans, basically. Towards the latter part of my undergrad, I realized that there was kind of a very cool opportunity with applied anthropology to apply anthropological research to business and see how you could improve business efficiencies. And so I kind of got a little bit interested in that realm, and it kind of led me to a bit of a flavor of entrepreneurship. So after my undergrad, I worked a little bit in investment banking. So dabbled in the kind of the finance world. Very interesting. Got to see IPOs, which are the initial public offerings of, private companies that are going public. I knew that wouldn't be my career path necessarily. And at the back of my mind, I always had this dream of working in sports. So I actually was an athlete, but never got the opportunity to do college sports because I did a sport that there's no such thing as college athletics for that. So I did trampoline, which is kind of part of the gymnastics ecosystem. But even gymnastics has a path forward in college. So a lot of the folks that I competed with on the traditional gymnastics side, they get their scholarship, they compete in college. My father was a student athlete. I always, it was very cool, but I just, I ended up in this niche elite program, but the only path forward was really towards the Olympics. At a certain point, I made the really hard decision to say, athletics and this particular sport is not going to be my way forward to get myself a college degree. I knew I'd have to pay college myself, and so I was looking at opportunities for scholarship. I went to school at DePaul University in Chicago, really loved the urban vibe. That's really what I wanted. I wanted to be in the city. And I loved it. It was great. But I never got to have that experience of being a student athlete. I did intramurals and this and that, and I've always been an athlete. It's just kind of who I am. And I got really into a Brazilian martial art called capoeira, which kind of allowed me to put to the test my passion for learning languages as well as the physical movement. It looks like a dance. It's disguised as a dance, but you're fighting. And so there's acrobatics. So I did that for all throughout college. And then it was really the opportunity that the NAIA afforded me. I was back in Kansas City, where I'm from, actually. And Kansas City is the headquarters for the NAIA. It was actually created in 1937 by Dr. James Naismith, who's the founder of basketball. Started as a basketball association, actually. And they were creating a brand new entity. They were creating an eligibility center that was going to process the eligibility for the thousands of students who were going to come to college campuses for the first time. They needed somebody to help interpret the degrees and the academics of the student athletes coming to the NAIA from all over the world.
Can you give some examples or talk about, what advice you would give to student athletes on how they position themselves with the companies that you've spoken with that are looking to hire student athletes?
The things that I would say that are above and beyond that I consistently hear from employers are things like work ethic, because number one, in order to have made it at that level, that's job number one, is you have to put in the work. That shines people above and beyond. I think especially just in the culture that we're in and this pervasiveness of social media, you can get anything you want within 2 hours from Amazon. So there is a sense, and I hear this a lot from the generation. I'm not gonna make generalities on generations, but you hear from people saying that in the workplace it has become challenging to find people with a strong work ethic. Okay, so student athletes, number one, they command that. They're resilient. How many games did you lose that you put the jersey back on, you went back into the gym, you worked harder the next time? Those are all things that in business, you don't win every time. How many setbacks you're going to have, how many business initiatives that you put forward that, no, now we don't have the funding, we've got to do it a different way. No, we actually can't do it this way. Can you do the same project with half the budget? You constantly have to be resilient. And kind of going along with that is working under pressure. I don't know a student athlete who's never been put under pressure and doesn't know how to handle themselves in that arena. The other thing that I would say which is huge is they're coachable.
Or when student athletes are in that zone of applying for a job and all of the different elements in that process, what sage advice do you have for us, Leah?
Yeah. Okay. So a couple different things. In terms of the actual prep for an application, every application should be unique. You should view it almost like an assignment. You're sitting down and you're thinking about that role. Look at the job description. What are they telling you that they want? And then look at your resume and find the places where your resume is telling the story for them. Do their job for them. They're going to want to understand, are you a match? So don't just assume I've got a resume and I have one resume and I'm sending my resume to everyone. No, it's a puzzle piece. If you're applying to 15 jobs, you should have 15 different resumes. Number two is to get concrete and think about examples where you've translated your work as good, strong time management, perseverance on the field, demonstrating leadership. You've thought about those things, but then you've got some tangible examples where you can say, as a team captain, I led a strategic, adjustment under pressure. I recognized that we needed to run this play and not that play, or it could be something completely different. I prepped. Our coach said we needed to run these plays and learn these plays, and instead I stayed 2 hours extra. I studied the tape of the other team, and then it turned out in game. All of a sudden, I remembered that when they played that game, I said to my captain, can we do this? Whatever the thing is, right? Like where you're able to take the example and demonstrate, because the athletics is like a playground for life, right?
I thought that was a great finish up to our discussion today. It's been a pleasure. Thank you for your time and your advice and thoughts.
Amazing. Thank you so much, David.
Okay.
It's been great.
Take care.
Take care. Bye.